Urgent. The Bears management has just scheduled a private workout that could change everything of the franchise's future. A controversial player that no one expected is on the radar for the first round. Meanwhile, an elite veteran has just been cut and the Bears could make an immediate move. And if that wasn't enough, what if the draft doesn't go as we expect? The backup plan could create chaos in the current secondary. Don't miss this bomb that will change the course of Chicago. Like and subscribe now, because this is exclusive. What you're about to hear will completely change your perspective on the Chicago Bears this season. Exclusive information that I have for you today, and let me tell you, this is something no one else is talking about with this level of detail. Get ready, because these three bombs are going to shake the foundations of Soldier Field. First, let's get to the most urgent. The Bears have just scheduled a private workout with Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. And I ask you, do we really need another tight end when we have Cole Kmet? I think this is more complex than it seems, and I'm going to break it down for you. Warren is not just any tight end. We're talking about an exceptional elite athlete, a true unicorn in his position who can line up anywhere on the field, even in the backfield. This guy is a constant threat, a nightmare for defensive coordinators trying to match up with him. He stands 6 feet 6 inches, weighs 254 pounds, and runs like a wide receiver. How many players with that profile exist in the current NFL? I'm telling you, practically none. What makes this news so controversial is simple. Using the number 10 draft pick on a tight end when you already have an established one seems like a luxury many fans don't understand. But let me explain something you're overlooking. Ben Johnson, our new offensive coordinator, is a genius at manipulating formations with multiple tight ends. And here's the key fact that no one is mentioning. Johnson used more 12 personnel formations, 2 tight ends, than any other team in the NFL last season with the Lions, exactly 31% of their offensive plays. This is not a coincidence. It's a game philosophy. I'm telling you with all certainty, Johnson sees Warren as the missing piece in his offensive puzzle. Now, imagine this scenario for a moment. Warren alongside Kmet, with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze on the field at the same time. 4 receiving threats, all with different physical profiles and skills. How do you defend that? Who do you match up with Warren when he can line up in any position? If you use a linebacker, he destroys you with speed. If you use a safety, he dominates you with size. It's an impossible dilemma for defenses. And let's not forget the red zone, that area where the Bears have historically been inconsistent. With 2 athletic tight ends like Warren and Kmet, plus the threat of Odunze on the outside, we will be creating matchup nightmares for our rivals. I ask you, wouldn't it be worth using that number 10 pick if it means turning our red zone into a scoring machine? I think absolutely yes. Would it fill an urgent need on the roster? Probably not, if you look at it superficially. But if you deeply analyze what Ben Johnson wants to build offensively, Warren wouldn't be a luxury. He would be a strategic necessity. And I'm telling you, this move makes much more sense than the experts are willing to admit publicly. The versatility he would add to our attack would be exponential. Now, let's move on to another bombshell that just exploded in the free agency landscape and could reshape our defense. The Patriots have just released Ja'Whaun Bentley, and this is an opportunity that Ryan Poles cannot, should not, and does not have the luxury to ignore. Why? Because I'm going to explain something that no one else is considering right. Now, Doc Bentley is not just any run-of-the-mill linebacker. We're talking about a captain, a proven leader, a general on the defensive field who recorded 100, 14 tackles, 12 quarterback hits, and 4.5 sacks in 2023. Those are elite numbers, folks. Numbers that change the dynamics of an entire defense, not yes. He comes from a pectoral injury that limited his 2024 season to just 2 games, and that obviously raises legitimate concerns. But his track record speaks for itself. 509 career tackles, 10.5 sacks, 29 quarterback hits. This man is productive when he's on the field, period. The Bears currently have TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds as undisputed starters in the linebacker corps, and both are solid players. I won't deny that. But I ask you, who will take the third spot in a defensive scheme that vitally depends on having athletic and versatile linebackers? Currently, Noah Sewell is projected for that role. But let's be frank and brutally honest here. He hasn't started a single game in his professional career. He has only 13 tackles in 22 appearances. And while he has potential, we're talking about a team that aspires to immediate playoffs, not a long-term project. To make matters worse, we lost Jack Sanborn, who signed with the Cowboys, leaving a void of depth and experience that needs to be urgently filled. And I firmly believe Bentley could be that perfect solution. A proven veteran who knows what it means to play under the pressure of winning, who has been in a winning organization and knows what it takes to build a culture of excellence. And what about the leadership aspect? The Bears are in the process of a cultural rebuild with a new coaching staff. They've already brought in veteran leaders like Joe Thuney and Grady Jarrett precisely for this reason. Bentley will be another respected voice in the locker room, someone who can help guide the younger players and set the standard of what it means to be a professional. I tell you, bringing Bentley in would not only immediately improve our defense on the field, providing valuable insurance against injuries at a key position, but it will give the team another veteran leader, something crucial for a young team with a first-year head coach like Ben Johnson. This is a market opportunity that doesn't come around every day. And now, let's move on to the most fascinating part, the one that could really determine the long-term future of this franchise. Let's imagine a scenario, and this is something I've been analyzing deeply, where we get to the number 10 pick in the draft, and all our main targets have already been selected. Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty, Will Campbell, Tyler Warren, Armin Mambu, all off the board. The quarterbacks Cam Ward and Shedder Sanders are also gone. And to top it off, we can't trade down because no one is interested in negotiating. What do we do then? Do we panic? I say no, because there's an option that few are considering. Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan. And I firmly believe this scenario is much more likely than many are willing to admit. In fact, according to my internal sources, it's a possibility the organization is seriously considering as a plan B. Johnson is not just another cornerback with potential. We're talking about a truly transformative defensive back, a generational talent who could form a formidable trio alongside Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon. At 6'2" and 202 pounds, he has the ideal size for the position, with the speed and fluidity of a much smaller cornerback. He can match up with virtually any receiver and dominate them, from speedsters to physical giants. Want stats to back up his caliber? 9 interceptions in 32 starts for Michigan. A completion rate allowed of less than 50% when quarterbacks dare to throw his way. These numbers speak to his natural instincts and his ability to read the quarterback like few can. But here's the question everyone is avoiding. What would happen to Tyreek Stevenson? I tell you this bluntly. He would either be traded or significantly dropped in the rotation. And I know this may sound harsh, especially since Stevenson has shown flashes of potential. He's not a bad player. He made mistakes like any rookie, including that crucial moment many fans unfairly criticize. But football is a talent-based business, and Will Johnson would represent a significant upgrade, a quantum leap in terms of skill and potential. With Jalen Johnson handling the more physical matchups on one side and Gordon thriving in the slot. As one of the best nickel corners in the league, Will Johnson would have the freedom to develop into a truly dominant cornerback on the other side, relieving the pressure on the rest of the secondary. I ask you, wouldn't it be spectacular to have two Johnsons leading our secondary for the next 5 to 7 years? I think it would be a legendary combination, possibly the best cornerback duo in the entire NFC. And here's another aspect no one is considering: positional value. In an increasingly pass-oriented league, having elite cornerbacks is almost as valuable as having a franchise quarterback. Think of the Rams with Jalen Ramsey, the Broncos with Patrick Surtain II, the Jets with Sauce Gardner. These players transform entire defenses, allowing coordinators to be more aggressive with their calls and schemes. Moreover, with the current rules increasingly favoring offenses, having cornerbacks who can cover without constant help has become a luxury few teams can boast. Will Johnson could be that type of player for the Bears, elevating our secondary from good to potentially elite dots. So, what do you think? Should the Bears use their first pick on a tight end like Warren when they already have Kmet? I think if Ben Johnson considers that player crucial for his offensive system, it would definitely be worth it. Or maybe it would be better to target a linebacker in free agency like Bentley to strengthen a more immediately needed position. I tell you, depth at linebacker is something you can't ignore in modern NFL, especially with the wear and tear that position suffers over a 17-game season. Or perhaps, if things don't go as we hope in the draft, would you like to see Will Johnson join our secondary to form one of the best defensive units in the entire league? I personally think this would be a fascinating scenario that could give us a defensive identity for the coming years. I firmly believe these three scenarios represent critical decisions that will shape the immediate future of our franchise. They are not sensationalist moves to generate headlines. They are calculated strategic moves that could be the difference between being a good team fighting for a wild card and being a true Super Bowl contender in the coming years. The window to win with Caleb Williams under his rookie contract is open now, and every decision we make this offseason will have repercussions for years. That's why these news are so crucial and why we must analyze them from every possible angle. Do you think Tyler Warren would be a valuable addition to our offense despite already having Cole Kmet? Or do you think signing a veteran like Juwan Bentley to reinforce our linebacker cores will be the best decision to compete immediately? Maybe you prefer we draft Will Johnson to create an elite secondary that dominates the potent offenses of the NFC North. Let me know your opinion in the comments right now. Don't miss out on this crucial conversation for the future of our franchise. If you want deep and exclusive analysis on the Chicago Bears that you won't find anywhere else, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now and turn on notifications. We are a family here, united by our passion for the Bears, and your opinion is fundamental to these debates. Like this video if you want more content like this with insider information and analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Until next time, Bears Nation.